Hi, Jim Campilongo here, and today I'm just going to do some basic tips on maybe how you hold your guitar and a few things. I thought of it last week when I was giving lessons, and a lot of things I say a lot, and maybe some of these things you'll think, oh, I do that or I know that, and I if that's great too. But just about holding the guitar, your left hand, and some other little tips. The first thing I notice and I say a lot is you might, I could see myself on this video, you might see how my guitar's coming out. It's not like this, it's like this. And I first noticed that really when a guy, Steve Cardenas, came over, and I had two chairs and with the real estate negotiated like it is when I give lessons. And I noticed I had to move back because we were both kind of like this, okay? I'm exaggerating it, but the guitar is coming out, kind of like, Nigel Tufnell, okay? It's not like this. And I see this in pictures, and I see it on the cover of guitar magazines, but I notice all the guys I play with, we hold it out more. And I think that's way more comfortable. It kind of just sits there. And I think one of the reasons people play like this, and you could see how all of a sudden my body's really tight and everything, and my elbows back, is so you can see. And, after you play a few years, a few decades, it isn't as important to see. You just want, comfort, okay? So I tend, and I suggest to people, kind of give up, the perspective of seeing, and you can still see. It's not like, the force is with you and you're just guessing where the 10th fret is, but the guitar's out, and all of a sudden there's all this arm movement, more access. It's way more relaxed. So personally, even when I do a gig and I'm sitting down, I even bring a little footstool. I'm kind of really accustomed to my foot being up. You might notice that on the videos. I use the thing of the chair that's coming out at home, but that props my leg up, gets the guitar up high where I like it, and I keep it out. So there's all kinds of arm movement, like I said. So that's the first tip. Kind of bring it out, and I bet you like it. I bet it feels comfortable, because I usually ask people, how's that feel? Because I don't want to, make people feel uncomfortable, and then not, not take lessons and learn, it's so any deal breakers I try and skip. So try keeping that guitar out. Okay, now while I'm talking about sitting down, I have some notes there. I actually don't have mine, it's in the case, sorry, but I set my guitar strap so when I'm sitting down and I stand up, it doesn't move, okay? That's basically it. A lot of guys wear their guitars down here, and say, Keith Richards, and who knows, maybe the guy in your band, and it's considered looking cool. But I always like my guitar high, kind of at an uncool place, where it's like when I'm sitting down. And I do, hours of practicing sitting down. Some people practice standing up, maybe you do and you're comfortable with it, but I set my guitar strap to where I'm sitting down, and give it a shot. Give it a shot. I think it's a good tip, and that's what I do. Okay, another one I say a lot. Let's say we're playing a C major 7, chord here, root 5, C, G, B, E, G. I see a lot of this, sorry, I'm playing the wrong chord. Like people bar to the 5th string, and I always recommend bringing your thumb back to the center of the neck. And I think it's even more helpful to think, have your fingernail exceed the fingerboard. Now, I've said this during our lessons, but I'm going to say it again and make a big point of it. First of all, you don't have to fight that crease in your finger, but it makes things way more relaxed. Okay, so have your fingernail exceed the fingerboard when you play a chord like this, or this chord, any bar chord, or even if I'm playing like a little thing. Personally, I tend to just do a full bar because it's just more relaxed. I kind of have a vice looking position of my left hand. So that's another tip. It helps you relax. The downside is, and I think why people do it, is if your finger's on the fifth string and not doing the full bar that I recommend, it helps align where one picks. You know, you kind of feel this, and it helps you feel this. And that may take a little practice, but again, it's for a way more sound and relaxed left hand, or whatever hand you use to play the fingerboard, and whether you're left or right-handed. And it's all about longevity, and the chord will sound truer. You won't ever get the sounds that you do when you do a half bar, or kind of a semi bar, if you will. So try to have that, and think about that whenever you're barring. Have that fingernail exceed the fingerboard. Okay, now I almost do this with everybody, but when I show certain rhythms, I have to get people to not play. Let's say we were doing this chord, G7, G, F, B. First of all, I always recommend angle your hand. It just mutes everything. Okay, so it's muted. You're not worrying about it. You're not like this. It's not straight up. It's from an angle. And then all of a sudden, everything's muted. And that allows you to strum covering the face of the guitar. Think of it that way. That's how... It's not the area of the strings. It goes from my pectoral muscle down to where the controls are on a telly. It's a big space. It's from my wrist, you can see. And I'm moving air, and it's very comfortable. This creates tension, and it isn't the sound. We want it to kind of sound like where the guitar comes from, and that's a banjo on a lot of these things. I'm muting. I'm not being careful with my right hand, and it's going a full way. And I think that also helps one relax. Last but not least, when you're playing with anybody else, again, keep your guitar out, keep it high, feel relaxed, but look around. I know it doesn't seem like much of a tip, but even myself, if I'm doing this, I start getting in my head, I start not connecting. If I'm looking around, it's a good posture as well. You're looking around. Now, some people, maybe if you're playing something, if I'm playing, Prettiest Girl in New York, I could actually do it and look around, but I've been playing it a while. But generally, I will look around, and not only does it create a unified spirit amongst the band, and which is an intangible that's important, it keeps my body relaxed. If I start doing this and going, oh, I was better last week, or geez, that guy looks unhappy in the first row, I hope he likes it, the song, blah, blah, blah. Look up, look around. And on that note, if you're playing with others, never, ever, ever give them stink eye if they make a mistake. If the song is, and one of your band members accidentally goes, don't look at them. Or look at them and laugh. But I would recommend ignore it. Never give anybody, acknowledge if they make a mistake. And we all make mistakes. I make mistakes. And if I look up kind of like thinking people are going to give me some kind of look and nobody does, I'm like, oh, maybe it wasn't that bad, or they didn't hear it. Or it's just nice, you know? I mean, if you're having problems with somebody's part or if they're making a lot of mistakes, that's a totally different discussion, but not at the gig, not at rehearsal. Don't give anybody a look like you made a mistake. Just ignore it. And then, you know, prepare to say, hey, you know, I love what you're doing on that song and it's really keeping, you know, a steady rhythm. But every once in a while, I think I hear F sharp instead of F. Is there anything I could do to help on that? You know, is a way, instead of kind of vibing them and looking at them at the gig. So that's another tip, but this is leaving the you know, arena of technique. So anyway, there were just some thoughts I had, and I thought maybe they'd be helpful, and I thought I'd share them. So I hope this helped, and I hope everybody has a great day. Take care.